I don't know. After hearing him calm and talking about the tether story, it's probable.
Let's go down to the county attorney's office. I think you'll find a lot of humans down there.
All right.
No disrespect.
Stop driving.
I'm flirting with the judge in front of my dad.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday night. We made it. Week's over. Holiday weekend. Hope everyone has some great plans this weekend. And stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. You don't want to end up on my channel, even though it'd be fun. I'll give you a shout out, I promise. But probably a little bit embarrassing on your end. Anyways, before I get into it, you already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe. Let's have some fun. Let's watch some court. This is the guy from the Knives Out Eviction. He was charged with brandishing a knife. I don't remember exactly what his charge was. The police were there. The apartment wants him out. He's fighting it. Says a lot of random things. If you want to watch the first video, it's in the description. It's the very first clip on that video. I think there's only 2 clips on that video anyways. Very first clip, you'll see the guy's first appearance. This is his evidentiary hearing. This one's pretty fun. It's a little bit longer. It's about 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we're going to do it tonight. We're going to knock it all out tonight. Have some fun along the way. But like I said, before I hit that play button, you already know what to do. Like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. And if you'd like to super chat / donate, the link is down in the description for my link tree, and it is pinned in the chat. Also, thank you so much, Craig. You killed the second donation. I didn't see it till after the stream, so I wanted to make sure I said thank you again today. But thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Also, we have Jessica, who came in late in the stream yesterday. I might have said thank you last night. I don't remember, so I'm just shouting you out again. Thank you so much. Barbara, I'm glad you love the channel. I appreciate that. And the last one, Heather and I were trying to figure out the pronunciation of your name. I was guessing Shelly. No, that was Heather. Heather was guessing Shelly.
Sheila.
I was guessing Sheila. Yeah, I was saying Sheila. She was saying Shelly. So if you are here, please let us know how to pronounce your name.
Unless it's Sheila, then I guess Sheila.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go.
Unmute. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, now. Thank you. State your name, sir.
My name is Michael Anthony Shiverton.
Thank you. Today's the day and time set for the evidentiary hearing in this matter. Mr. Lamon.
Your Honor, this is a termination action based upon alleged violations of community rules at Hagley Gardens. It is alleged that Mr. Shiverton has on multiple occasions interfered with the quiet enjoyment of not only other residents in the community, but also their guests. We're prepared today to present not only the property manager, Brandy Conway, but also 2 women who have been, for want of a better phrase, victimized by Mr. Shiverton. Mary Wood, who is a neighbor who has called the police on Mr. Shiverton on multiple occasions, including one in which Mr. Shiverton was brandishing a butcher knife in plain sight, and also a friend of Ms. Wood's who has witnessed that conduct as well. The statute provides that a manufactured home park resident tenancy may be terminated for violation of community rules that interferes with the quiet enjoyment of other tenants. So we're prepared to present Ms. Conway, who will testify as to the terms of the lease, and then the other young ladies will testify as to the specific incidents which have led rise to the issuance of the 30-day notice on October 9th of 2023.
Thank you. Mr. Shiverton, do you have all documents and witnesses you need to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Plaintiff calls Brandy Conway.
Ms. Conway, you're going to stop at this podium first. Please state your first and last name and then spell them both for the record.
Brandy Conway, BrandyConway.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Come have a seat in this black chair that's closest to me, please. Mary Ann, my secretary, is recording your testimony. If she's unable to hear you, I'll ask you to raise your voice or scoot closer to the microphone. And the answers are yes, no, not not head shakes, because it's not going to be picked up, okay? Mr. Lamon.
Ms. Conway, are you employed?
Yes,
Where are you employed?
at Maple Leaf Gardens.
In what
North.
capacity?
I'm the general manager.
In the course and scope of your employment as general manager,
No, I'm not hiding. Just probably not going to jump on video tonight. Heather and I had a long, lazy day today. Neither one of us showered, which is awesome. And yeah,
Tell them my hygiene.
so probably not going to jump on video. I might jump in to, to wave every once in a while. But we have decided that Heather and I are going to do our live stream together tomorrow night. So yeah, you can look forward to seeing her on camera with me tomorrow night.
have you become familiar with an individual named Michael Shiverton?
Yes, I have.
Is he currently a tenant at Maple Leaf Gardens manufactured home community?
Yes,
And it's Maple Leaf Gardens South, is that correct?
that's correct.
There's also a Maple Leaf Gardens North. Mr. Shiverton is a tenant having signed a lease, is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as plaintiff's proposed exhibit 1. May I first witness your report?
Yes.
And ask if you can identify it.
Yes, this is the lease Michael Shiverton has signed with us.
Is that lease maintained in the ordinary course of business at Maple Leaf Gardens South?
Yes.
How is it maintained?
Well, with the rules and the lease itself, we make sure that the residents are abiding by the lease and the rules of the community.
Is the lease itself kept in a file?
Yes, it is.
Does each tenant have their own file at Maple Leaf Gardens South?
Yes, they do.
And what other items are maintained in the file?
There's violations, there's things of that nature. There's all of the lease documents that they sign are also included in that file at the office.
Is payment history also maintained there?
No, that is maintained inside of our system in Rent Manager.
All right. So Mr. Shiverton's lease is maintained and available daily.
Yes, that's correct.
And the rules and regulations are also available daily.
Yes,
And in fact, Mr. Shiverton, did he sign this particular lease personally, or did he e-sign it?
nope, he was in person when he signed it.
Okay. And he approved the community rules as well as the lease itself?
Yes, he did.
Your Honor, subject to any voir dire on the part of the defendant, plaintiff moves for the admission of Exhibit 1.
Any objection, Mr. Shiverton?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. It's received.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I approach the witness? And
Yes.
the court to provide the copy of the exhibit?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Monkey. I appreciate it.
To the rules and regulations. I believe they're 16 pages in length. I think the first 11 pages are the terms of the lease, and then we get to the rules and regulations. And I'd like you to refer to the bottom of page 2 and the top of page 3 of the rules and regulations. Can you track that down for me?
Yes.
Don't worry, guys.
Yes, sorry.
This gets a lot better.
And there's paragraph 4 under the rules and regulations, which relate to tenant conduct. And I'd like you to, if you would, read into the record paragraph 4A and 4B.
Tenants are responsible for their own conduct as well as their guests. Tenants and guests shall conduct themselves in a fashion that ensures the comfort, peace of mind, and quiet enjoyment to others. Tenants and guests shall comply with federal, state laws, local government ordinances, and these rules and regulations This includes compliance with any state or local curfew regulations.
And then B relates to noise. Would you read that into the record as well?
Noise or unruly behavior that disrupts the peaceful enjoyment of others is prohibited. Such disturbances include, but are not limited to, loud stereo, TV, radio, and vehicle noises. This policy is always in effect.
And there's also, further down the page 3, there's a specific section devoted to weapons. Are weapons permitted at Maple Leaf Garden South?
No, they are not.
And there's a big list of weapons, and I don't need you to read it into the record, but are knives included as a weapon that is not permitted?
Yes, they are.
Now, did there come a point in time?
Okay, first off, knives is a weapon. I understand knives are a weapon, but that's kind of really vague. You have kitchen knives, you have steak knives, got knives that you cut things with. That's not really clear, right? You guys agree with me on that?
Where you received complaints from one or more residents concerning Mr. Shiverton's conduct?
Yes, I have.
Approximately how many occasions? Don't guess, but if you can give me a reasonable, whatever you recall. That I can think of off the top of my head, I would say there's been about 5 occasions within a very short time. And what was that time frame?
Within a 2-month time frame.
Within a 2-month time period?
Yes.
And do you remember the 2 months?
I can't be very specific on it.
All right. There came a point in time, however, where you requested that our office issue what's called a 30-day notice under MCL section 600.5714E. Did you make that request of our office?
Yes, I did.
And it was issued on October 9th. So is it fair to state that that 2-month time period somehow either backed up to or included October 9th?
Yeah, I that's what I was thinking. It was within that time frame. Excuse me. It was within that time frame. That's why I had asked if we could file this 30-day.
And in fact, you did receive a formal written complaint from at least from a resident directly complaining about Mr. Shiverton.
Yes, true? I did.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask Ms. Wood about that particular email because she was the one who issued, but you recall receiving it.
Yes, I do.
Was that the trigger that then resulted in your requesting that our office take action?
Yes, it was.
And you approved that on behalf of Maple Leaf Garden South?
Yes, I did.
And you do wish, as of today, to have Mr. Shiverton evicted?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Conway.
Thank you. Mr. Shiverton, do you have any questions for Ms. Conway?
Ms. Conway is who, ma'am?
The general manager of Maple Leaf.
Do I have any questions for her? Yes, I do. My first question is, why in America would you not think that I'm going to encounter this being the only Black man on the street and around a bunch of women that are white women? Like, how is it because it's hearsay, and I have people who have cell phones.
Mr. Shiverton?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm interrupting you because you have a right to ask a question, but it sounds like you're testifying. Do you have questions for Ms. Conway?
Yes, I do. Ms. Conway, do you believe that this is in any way racially motivated?
Do you believe that this is racially motivated?
I do not.
May I ask why? Looking at the color of my skin?
I don't think the skin color played any part of it. We've received complaints from multiple residents.
About what, ma'am?
Nobody has ever mentioned the color of your skin.
Why would they mention it? You think they're going to admit that they're racist, ma'am? Is it safe to say that, of course, they're not going to admit it? They're just going to make it like I'm some bad human being? Because I have not. Okay, my question is this.
Thank you.
My question is this. have I committed any crimes out here? I would like a yes or no answer.
I'll object, Your Honor, only in terms of, I think the witness can
I
testify.
thought I could
about
ask a
rules and
question.
regulations. She's not a police officer.
I thought I could ask a question, though. May I ask a
You
question?
can ask, sir, you can ask questions, but the attorney has a right to object to it. He's objected
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
question. Do you have any response to his objection?
Yes, I have a response to that. I'm not surprised you're objecting. That's my response. I'm not surprised, ma'am, about that. I didn't
The
expect.
objection is sustained. Your next question, Mr. Shiverton.
Oh, it's already going well, right? It's already going well. There was the race card out. First thing he says is racism. Also, he didn't even know who this was. This is the manager of the apartment complex he lives in and had no idea who that was. I mean, I guess that's possible. I don't know. You kind of know the people that sign your lease with you, right? I would think. Maybe it's different in every complex. I don't know. I know mine. All right, let's go. This train wreck does not end. We still have an hour left of this.
How long is, if I was found to be evicted in this situation, legally, and this is for Miss Conway, legally, how long do you have to give me throughout the law to be able to move and by law?
Your Honor, I'll object in that it calls for a legal conclusion. Ms. Conway can certainly answer the question if she knows.
I
I'm
do
sure
not
she's
know.
been
I
through
don't.
this before.
Did you hear the objection, Mr. Shiverton?
Yes, ma'am. May I respond,
Do you have a
please?
response to the object? Absolutely.
My response is that I'm sure she's been through this before. Why does she not know the answer to that question?
The objection was that it was calling for a legal conclusion. Do you have a response to Mr. Lamon's objection?
Yes. Concerning, let's just say that I was found to where I was evicted. How long would I legally have to access another home and sell my trailer? How long would I have?
Mr. Shiverton, I suggest that you did not hear Mr. Lamon's objection. His objection was that it called for a legal conclusion. As a matter of information, there is a minimum of 10 days required from judgment to application for writ, if that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. No further questions for her, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor, but if I may, if Mr. Shiverton owns his home, I believe that he would also be entitled to 90 days to move or sell the home.
Correct.
Thank you, sir, for
Thank
that. That gives me, thank you for answering that. Thank you very much.
And I have no redirect at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Conway, you may step down. Mr. Lamont, I'm going to pass you for just one moment. There are some other matters. There is 2302391 LT Swan Creek versus Lee.
All right, I think I cut this out. In a second.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Elizabeth Ellison, P82098 for the plaintiff.
All right, this does go in and out a little bit. Because this hearing was so long, there's the judge tried to squeeze in all the people that are waiting in between witnesses. I may have forgotten to skip these, or right when I play it, it might skip it. I don't know. But I know between the next two witnesses, it is skipped. Anyways, thank you so much for objecting. I understand why you object, and I object to your objection. This guy, do you have a response? Yeah, I understand. No, you don't. All right, let's keep going.
Your Honor, we are moving to dismiss this matter. I did submit it to my file, but I don't think it has made it to your desk.
It didn't reach the file as of an hour ago. Thank you, Ms. Ellison. I'll make a notation that we're looking for the dismissal. Thank you. And then there's 2302406 LT Swan Creek versus Melissa Vukola.
Attorney Elizabeth Ellison, P8209 for the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Ms. Ellison, this case was scheduled at 1 o'clock. It's now 1:25 by the court's clock. Melissa Vuocolo. There are a couple of unidentified persons in the court's breakout sessions. Give us one moment, Ms. Ellison.
No worries, Your Honor.
All right, I'm afraid to skip ahead because I don't think this takes very long. So I don't want to skip ahead. But I do know between the next two witnesses, I just forgot to do it on this one. So sorry. But yeah, Monkey, thank you so much for the super chat. I said that I was actually talking over the video when I said thank you. And I don't know if I talked. Oh, Monkey, thank you again. Diver Dan, welcome. I think we can do that. All right, I'm gonna skip. Just see what happens. I'm at 1651 right now. Let's go here.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Lamb, and I'm gonna try to clean this.
That the notice, the 30-day notice terminating tenancy was
I think I
sent
did.
to Mr. Shiverton at 6011 Winchester. Where is 6011 Winchester in relation to your home?
It is the home directly south of mine,
So it's next door.
correct.
How long have you resided at 6003?
It'll be 3 years in July.
How long
I'm
has
sorry,
Mr.
4,
Shiverton?
4 years.
How long has Mr. Shiverton been your neighbor?
I believe he's been there about a year or so less than I have.
And you did not form any preconceptions about Mr. Shiverton based on the color of his skin when he moved in, correct?
Absolutely not.
Now, during the course of your tenancy or your coexistent tenancy with Mr. Shiverton, have you made any complaints to the community office about his conduct?
All right, it looks like I did. I skipped a little too far. This witness is the neighbor. And you can tell our favorite defendant up in the top left corner is just itching to ask some questions. But this is the neighbor. Yeah, I skipped. That's why I was afraid to skip ahead. But we didn't need all that dead time.
Almost every day, yes.
Your Honor, I have a couple of exhibits that are sitting waiting to be marked.
I also have about 100 more videos in my phone.
All right, well, I don't think we need
Mr.
to
Lehman.
show.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what happened to Heather?
On those occasions where you have made complaints, were they all in writing?
At first, they were in by phone, and it was becoming so habitual that Brandy asked me to start putting them in writing so that we could start forming a case here, because this has been going on for a very long time, 2 years.
And you also had occasion to call the police on Mr. Shiverton.
Yes, and it's to the point where, nothing ever happens because he outsmarts them. So he will antagonize me for hours, berating me outside, yelling and screaming. And then when I finally get to the point where I call the police, he can see from both directions and he sees them coming down the street and he turns off all the lights, goes in his house, and the police can never make contact. And then they leave and he comes right back outside.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as proposed exhibit 3. And ask, and don't read it.
Uh-huh.
All right, I just want to know if you recognize. And I realize that the print is very, very small, and I'll take the responsibility for
Yes,
having it.
yes, this is correct.
Right, and what is that document?
This is a document that is typical of what I would send every day. Just the incident that had occurred, what time, exactly what happened.
All right, I don't want you to read it yet. Did you write this document?
I don't understand how I could say I wrote it if I can't read it.
Well, I don't want you to, I want to find out what your recollection is of certain incidents without your referring to the document. You may have to refresh your recollection.
Yes,
But-
I just read the very first sentence, and this, I am familiar, yes. That I
Okay.
read this, yeah.
And you generated this and sent it to Brandy?
Correct,
And it appears to bear a date of October 2nd, Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Is that correct?
correct.
Your Honor, subject to any part here on the part of Mr. Shiverton, we move to the admission of plaintiff's exhibit 3.
Any objection, Mr. Shiverton?
As far as objection, do you mean any objection to what I just heard?
To the court receiving the document, sir.
Not at all.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Now, again, before you refer to the document, this particular exhibit lists several incidents of conduct on the part of Mr. Shiverton. I'm going to ask whether you have independent recollection as we sit here today, several months later.
Sure.
All right. The first date that you make a complaint about is Friday, September 22nd, 2023. Do you remember specifically what happened on that date? What his conduct was? Or would you need to refer to the exhibit?
Sir, I apologize, but this goes on almost every single day. So that specific day, I can't recall the exact nature of the
All right, and
incident.
I understand it might blend together.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask similarly, you don't remember specifically what occurred on September 23rd.
If that is the day that he was brandishing the knife outside, I was at home. I had my friend Ashley over. We were doing each other's hair, dyeing each other's hair, and Michael immediately saw my friend over and decided to start annoying us, basically, and becoming obnoxious and just, you know, yelling and screaming, and, you know, and then all of a sudden he's dressed up, you know, telling us that he's a thug and thug life and all this stuff, and then he's got the knife, and it's, you know, he's just, it's scary because I don't know the drugs he's on, the alcohol. I don't know when he's gonna snap, if he's gonna snap. I don't know how to encounter him. And so if it's that's the day, then that's what
All right,
we're.
well, I'm not gonna, we'll come back to the exhibit for a moment.
Okay,
When you saw Mr. Shiverton with the knife, did you take a picture of that?
I did. I took video and picture.
And this was a picture on your phone?
Correct, and that's part of the video.
Right. I'm gonna show you what's been marked as plaintiff's proposed exhibit 2 and ask if you can identify it.
Yes, that is my neighbor, Michael.
All right, and is that the picture that you took with your phone?
It was actually a video, but I screenshot this to create a picture, a still picture.
You were the source of it.
Correct.
Your Honor, plaintiff moves for the admission of exhibit 2, subject to any word here on the part of the defendant.
Mr. Shiverton, any objection? Mr. Lamon, it'll be received.
No, I'm when I was looking at it.
Thank you.
He's not even paying attention anymore. I feel like he's talking to somebody else, looking at something else, not even. I mean, did he even answer? The judge said any objection, and he just kind of looked and didn't even say anything, right? You know what sucks? We have no idea if this woman is racist towards him at all. We don't know. We weren't there. We don't know. Could she be? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know her. But But the second you bring out a knife, you lose that argument, right? Again, this doesn't get any better. It's going downhill and picking up speed.
This.
Now, let's go back, if I can, to Exhibit 3, Ms. Wood. I'm going to let you go ahead and read the exhibit, if you would. I'm going to ask if that refreshes your recollection about the events of these various days, September 22nd, 23rd, 29th, 30th, and October 1st. And a couple of incidents on October 1st.
Yes, this was the most appalling situation that I've had to encounter with him.
Does it refresh your recollection as far as?
Oh, yes.
Is it typical Mr. Shiverton to curse at you?
Very much so.
Has he ever yelled at you and called you racist?
Again, almost every day.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, have you engaged in any kind of conduct or activity that would support that contention that you were racist?
I don't see how. I work 3 jobs, so I just look.
Am I in the courtroom?
And you have referenced a couple.
What was that? Was he trying to object right there? I don't. His audio was so distorted. I have no idea what he just said, and I guess he just got frustrated and walked away. He keeps walking away. Also, since I have it paused, Jay Hart, thank you so much. The Pokemon fun. That was a good video, wasn't it? And also, I like the way he said it's about to go downhill. That was good. I like it. I should have thought about that. It's good.
Times in Exhibit 3 where he indicated that he claimed that he was going to butcher you. Has he
Correct.
threatened you with that type of language on multiple occasions?
Yes, that is one line that has been used many times.
Have there been other threats against your life?
You know, yes, but I couldn't give you an exact date or time on those. I would have to. I have everything on my phone where it's on video, so I don't do that. But I couldn't tell you the exact dates or times and all that. Like this, again, this has been going on for a very long time, but it's just this short window that you guys are hearing about.
All right. Your Honor, I do not have any further questions in this case.
Thank you. Mr. Shiverton, do you have any questions for Ms. Wood? You're muted, Mr. Shiverton.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Do you have any questions for Ms. Wood?
Now, Ms. Wood, have you ever called me a Nigger?
I do not recall.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not. But Mr. Shiverton.
Hold on. No, there's no question. You said no. Mr. Shiverton,
You didn't say
if you
no.
have questions, if you have questions for her, ask her questions. You'll be sworn in if you want to give testimony, okay?
I'm not giving testimony. I'm asking her a question. Mary, have you ever called me personally an N-word? That's a question.
I do not
Been
recall.
asked and answered at this point.
Okay, well, so you don't. Well, here's another question. How could you not remember if you called someone a Nigger? How could you not remember that?
Well, because I was probably in a state of complete fear and just exhaustion from dealing with being berated and harassed for hours and hours on end without saying a word to you. And then, yeah, if I snapped, it may have been, and I don't remember because the anger was so strong.
All right, right there. That's not good. So he did just get her to admit that she called him that, and she did say no to his first question. But if he can't prove that she just lied, there's no reason to keep asking her this question. It doesn't help his case. He doesn't. Yeah, so frustrating. He could, if he knew what he was doing, he could turn that and use it. But so I don't understand why he pushes that point.
Here's
Because I
another
tried to deal with you.
Have you ever physically put your hands on me? You have to answer. You're on.
Yes, I have.
You have physically ran up on me, scratched me, and clawed me, and tried to get me to hit you back.
No.
So
I tried to remove your
Stop,
animal from your
ma'am.
home.
You have put your hands
You
on
do
me.
not take care of
Ma'am.
it because you have no job or do nothing all day.
Ma'am,
Part of my job.
you understand, every time you start,
Sorry,
no, you're not, because you keep doing it. Every time you talk, it makes his audio cut off.
Oh,
Okay, Mr. Shiverton, your question, sir.
My question, Mary, have you ever physically put your hands on me?
yes, I have.
Thank you. Have you sent one of your friends? Did you have a physical man friend of yours come fight me and try to beat me up?
I do not know anything about that.
So, your male
I did not
friend.
witness or see anything. I really have no idea what that is in regard to.
But you do remember when your friend tried to steal my cat? Do you remember that when your friend was like,
I was not home at that time.
You were there. You understand?
I was not there.
So how would I be encountering
I was not there. I had left my house. I was not there at that time.
Okay. I just got to do questions. Okay. So we'll accept that as your answer. But you are on the stand and you have said that you were going to tell the truth. And I was there, and these are lies. So I'm going to.
Mr. Shiverton, respectfully, I'm asking you to ask questions because there's some other people who have been waiting since 1 o'clock as well. So if you have questions for her, I will take them.
Yes, ma'am. Another question for me. Have you tried to conspire with other neighbors to have you told me that you want me kicked out a year or two ago, a long time ago? Did you tell me that personally?
Absolutely, yes, 100%, absolutely, I have, yes.
Saying that you are doing things to try to get me kicked out. You're admitting that.
You are doing them to yourself, sir.
Mary,
You are creating your own mess, and you know it.
How is that an answer, Your Honor? Is that answering the question yes or no? I just want a yes or no answer. A year ago.
Absolutely, yes.
So you said that you were going to try to do things to get me kicked out. You're admitting it.
No, I was trying to get people to put things in writing, which other neighbors would not do. I'm the only one that would put it in writing because other people are afraid of you.
No one's. Okay. My next question is, I don't have any further questions. That's all the answers I needed. No matter what.
Thank you. Any redirect, Mr. Lamon?
One question, Your Honor. I didn't hear the answer. Ms. Wood, you testified that you did put your hands on Mr. Shiverton once. What were the circumstances behind it?
No reason.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shiverton, I can't hear her if you're talking while she's talking, okay?
He's asking her why would she have an excuse to put her hands on me, and that she doesn't. You can't put your hands on me. I'm a human being.
Mr. Shiverton, what will happen is whatever you're doing is causing noise to disrupt the courtroom. I don't want to mute you because I want you to have the ability to object or respond or whatever, but you are disrupting the proceedings right now. Mr. Lamon is redirecting, so please be quiet.
Yes, ma'am.
The circumstances?
Circumstances where I was mowing my grass on a Friday, and Mr. Shiverton came walking past my house, very much intoxicated, and he was bleeding, and I was taken aback. He approached me in my yard, and after exchanging words, he wiped the blood from his face onto my lawnmower. And so I'm sorry, but I did lose my cool, and I pushed him, and I lost it.
So that's the September 22nd incident that is in Exhibit 3.
There was another incident as well. And that was when, in the middle of the night, there were repeated strangers coming over, loud noise, yelling and screaming, and he had just taken in this kitten who was terrified, and
Why do you keep trying to say that? Now you know
what was
the kitten.
You know what a kitten tell you personally? My cat ain't terrified. Excuse me, I'm not even gonna talk.
Anyways, yes, this time I tried to remove the kitten from his possession because I felt that it was in danger.
So those are the two occasions that
Correct.
you recall where you touched Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
And one of those was on your property, or
One mine, one his.
You testified that he's made threats against you. Has he come to your property and made those threats from your yard?
Technically, it's none of our yard. We rent the yard from Maple Leaf South, so there is technically, from my knowledge, no ownership of the land. So
It's on your side of the street.
Well, it's
or your side or next to you.
Well, it could be either one. I mean, it could be from his yard or my yard, because essentially we share, like, half of his yard. Well, a small portion of his yard is also mine. So, on that side where I have to go to mow, is his yard also.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Wood, you may step down. Mr. Lamb.
All right. Now, after hearing that, she's no saint. Remember, he's getting evicted because he brandished a knife on her, and she has pictures and videos of it. That's why he's being evicted. It's not a fail to pay rent, not anything else. It sounds like she's a very lovely person and a really nice neighbor to him. But he brandished a knife. And I do agree, GF, that if he had an attorney, then he might have been able to fight this. But still, the pictures of video evidence of him threatening her with a knife, you can't get by that. And I feel like he's moved away from that so much just because he doesn't like this woman. And I can see why. She sounds a lot of fun. But he's not defending the knife, and is the reason why he's being evicted.
Take another opportunity to get some of these other people cleared. It's 230.
Are you acquainted with Ms. Wood, who just testified?
Yes,
In what way?
we've been friends for quite a few years.
Have you ever been to her home in Maple Leaf Gardens South?
Yes,
During those visits, have you interacted at any point in time with Mr. Shiverton?
never. He and I just witnessed him doing what he was doing. I never said anything to him.
And do you remember when those occasions occurred?
There was actually two that I was there in person. There was a few that she was on the phone with me and I heard everything in the background.
All right.
I don't know the exact month.
Let's talk about what you witnessed.
All right, this is a friend of that lovely neighbor that we just met.
In person. You said you were friends with Ms. Wood. So were you at her home based upon her invitation?
Yes.
Okay. She talked about, in her testimony, about an occasion where the two of you were dyeing each other's hair.
Yes.
Were you the individual who was present?
Yes.
Okay. What did you observe at that point in time?
When I had pulled up the
gentleman next door was outside, ranting and raving, cussing. There was loud music playing. I was actually unsure whether or not to get out of my vehicle because of his behavior that I was witnessing. I had called Mary to ask her what was going on. She had told me just to kind of wait. He'll end up going back inside. So that's what I did. Then I got out and went inside.
And the next door neighbor was Mr. Shiverton?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you what has been admitted into evidence as Exhibit 2. You looked up when she took the picture.
Yes.
Were you present when that picture was taken?
Yes.
Okay. And where was Mr. Shiverton physically at that point in time? Did you recall?
Well, he had gone inside when I had waited in my vehicle, and when I went inside, he came out of his home again, and I heard him. Her windows were open and her door was open, and we just heard him like circling from the front to the left side of her mobile home, and then he was just pacing back and forth.
This is pacing at her home.
Her trailer and his yard and her yard are very close, so I'm not really sure about the property lines on whose, but her window was open and he was completely at her window, screaming into the window where we were at.
And do you remember what he was screaming?
Just a lot of profanity. And then when he had gone back inside, she told me to ignore it. I said, what is going on? She said, just ignore it. He does it all the time. I'm so sick of it. He ended up going back inside, and when he had come back out, I went into the kitchen to get something to drink. And I had glanced out, and that's when I had noticed he had a huge butcher knife. It's actually a lot bigger than what this picture looks. And then he started coming back to the window and started saying that he's sick of these racist bitches and he is going to chop us up. So I immediately told Mary to call 911. We locked the door, shut the windows, and waited for the police to arrive.
All right. And he was directing that not only toward her, but toward you
to
as
myself
well.
as well, yes.
Okay. How about the second occasion? Do you have any recollection of the second occasion?
So this was actually the second occasion I had
Okay,
seen him.
tell me about the first.
The first one, I had gone with my 16-year-old daughter and myself, and when we had the exact same thing, we pulled up. The neighbor was outside, and he was doing the same exact thing. It looked like he was intoxicated that first time, and he was going back and forth, and he was going up and down the street, screaming and yelling to the point where I was going to leave and not even get out of my vehicle to go into Mary's home because I had my daughter with me. Then he ended up going back into his home, and then that's when I went ahead and went into her house, and he continued the same behavior the whole time we were there.
Just yelling the whole time?
Yeah, just cussing, ranting, and raving, saying that he's sick of everything and people are gonna pay, and he was just belligerently, it looked like he was intoxicated.
Did he call you a bitch that time around also?
Oh, he was just ranting and raving just in general, saying that these white bitches, they're gonna pay. And then
He wasn't directing it toward anybody in particular.
Oh, it was definitely directed at us. But he didn't say obviously like my name or her name. He was just saying these white bitches. And so I'm assuming it was towards us.
Okay. Did he make any specific threats toward your daughter?
No.
Did you call, or did you or Ms. Wood call 911 at that point?
Not the first occasion. The second time when he was brandishing the weapon and going up against the window and threatening to chop us up, absolutely. We shut and locked the windows and doors.
Were you present when the police arrived?
Yes, I was.
Did you make a statement to the police?
Yes, I did.
And did they attempt to question Mr. Shiverton?
Oh, yeah. Yep. He was outside the whole entire time and until the police officers pulled up, and he immediately ran into his trailer, and the cops tried to say something to him. He went to open the door. A couple of the police officers came in and spoke with us to make sure that we were okay. We heard the entire thing, and he was just refusing to come out, and there was nothing they can do. They said we had to take it to the office and make our reports with the police officers.
I have no further questions of Ms. Kanicki.
Thank you. Mr. Shiverton, do you have any questions for Ms. Kanicki?
Yes, hello.
You're muted, sir.
Okay. No, I don't know who she is.
I'm sorry, sir?
Ma'am, no, I don't have any questions for her. I don't even know who she is.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony, ma'am.
Your Honor, point of press.
Thank you. Mr. Shiverton? Mr. Landman has rested. Do you intend to present any witnesses other than yourself this afternoon?
No, ma'am.
Kim, would you turn that on for me, please? Can you turn that on for me, please? Thank you. Mr. Shiverton, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Your testimony, Mr. Shiverton.
Thank you. I've lived here for 2 years, Your Honor. I've encountered the police. I've never been in handcuffs. I've never been put in a police car. I've never had a conversation with an officer.
Mr. Shiverton, I'm sorry, but whatever is in your background, it sounds like maybe a window is open or something.
Really?
Or there's some noise that sounds like an echo of some sort.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir. I want to be sure that Mr. Lamon, who is sitting in a different part of the courtroom, can hear you as well.
Yes, ma'am. I have my phone on. It's saying 20%. Trying to keep it. I don't.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shiverton, you say you've been there for 2 years?
Yes, ma'am. I've been here for 2 years. I've had the police called over me multiple times, and there's never been a crime being committed. I've also had people drive past me, give me, or Mary would, particularly, I could be a day where I'm doing nothing. Drive by and keep up this narrative that I'm a person. I don't feel that I'm a bad person. I live here. She's my neighbor. I have good days and bad days, and so I have had bad days. And some of the things that she said, like if I was mad about something, I don't doubt that I will admit that I have had bad days because she's my neighbor. But she's the only person in the United States that sees me go through that, and that's because she's my neighbor, open watching me. And so, but the thing is that I live alone, ma'am. I don't have a girlfriend, so I have never had an argument with a woman in here. The few times that I have been mad here, I've been mad, but that, in my opinion, does not mean that you can treat me bad 365 days a year. And in my opinion, in this situation, that's what's going on, is that I had a bad day one time and she never wanted to forgive me for it. But the truth is, the majority of the days I look exactly like I'm looking right now. I'm doing nothing to nobody. I've been through situations before where I've been through that at jobs, and I've in high school, I've had people that do those types of things. That all I'm saying, I don't, because I know how life is. It's ups and downs in life. I don't. She has seen me in bad moments because she's my neighbor. But I thought that's what I paid my rent for, was to be able to, if I have a bad day, to do it in the presence of my own home. I've never threatened her. She's actually hit me, and she's actually.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shiverton. You said you've never threatened her, but what?
No, I've never threatened her, but she's actually physically attacked me, which is a crime. She's actually called me racial slurs. I don't call her racial slurs because my mom is white. So I don't appreciate even to act like a mixed man could make judgments on white or black. I'm white and black. So for me to think that I would say that, everything that she's saying is hearsay. And never, if she's recording me, she's recording me, but I live at home and I'm a threat to her. She's actually gave me slurs and called me the N-word straight to my face while I'm just sitting on my phone. I live in a trailer that's aluminum, and so it's hard for I have service. One part of my home, Your Honor, is that I have a patio. So a lot of times my phone won't work, and I'll go out on my patio while I'm playing music in my house, by the way, in my house. Not outside, not a loudspeaker, loud radio, nothing. Just on my phone, little Bluetooth speaker. And I'll kind of go out there to get some music, and she'll open the door and harass me. I've actually been harassed by this woman. I have documented it. My mother told me to document it. There's times where I wrote notes. This is May of 2023. She hadn't seen me all winter because in the winter it's dark at 5 o'clock. And so I started going out my back patio so that I don't encounter her on this side of my home. So she hadn't seen me for 5 months, and I came out to pick some weeds, and I'm picking weeds in my yard, and she comes out like, we got to get rid of him, and I want him gone. This was May. This was after not encountering me for 4 months. And it just seems like the more and more I take care of my cats, and I'm a stand-up guy, the worse and worse this girl is like. I hate his guts, and I don't know how else to explain it other than it just seems racially motivated to me because, again, the more and more I try to avoid her, the more and more she wants to like a soap opera, wants to kick up dust and keep the narrative going. But the truth is, I, in my opinion, would have either A, went to jail if I was doing something bad, or B, because I don't, ma'am, Your Honor, how would I know she's calling the police? And so how am I magically just in the house safe and chilling when it comes? So and if I'm so drunk, I'm of course not going to be moving like on point. I'm going to be slipping up. Police are going to, if I had a knife and was brandishing a knife, the police would have seen me out here with a knife because she called the police on me any chance she gets. So how in anyone's right mind can you imagine that after I've been here 2 years and in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, she really wanted to get me locked up. She really wanted me to encounter the police, the George Floyd to happen, like to see me in hand. Since it never worked, she started taking it to the office. I got to get rid of him. But in all honesty, if I was doing anything around with a person who has no problem calling the police, I would have either A, went to jail, or the police would have put up on me and seen me doing something. Every time the police have come, they bash on my door with guns on them. That's the most heinous thing going on. That's scary to me because I've been stabbed 38 times. So I don't appreciate someone saying I play with knives. I don't even like knives. I got stabbed 30 times in one night. So that sounds crazy to me in itself. I don't play with knives because if I pull out a knife, someone might pull a knife. I might get stabbed. I've been through that before. It was scary. So everything she's saying to threaten a girl, man, I don't need a knife for a girl. That's crazy to me. I've never been assaulted. I've never assaulted a woman with a weapon in my life and never would. My mom raised me better than that. That's just my testimony in the situation. So I'm here to stand up for myself and give my opinion. That's it. It's just my opinion. I am a human being. I do have bad days, but that doesn't mean a person can just torture me the whole 2 years I live here. You want to bring the bad day I had. Like, it's over. It's done with. Okay, you recorded it. It's over. Leave me alone. And she'll come and show me the recording. Look, I have you looking crazy. I just be looking at her like I'm watering my flowers right now. And so every day I'm just ready to watch someone try to make me out some monster. And I'm just like, oh, and my mom comes here every day. Pulls up whenever she wants to. She don't call me or anything. My mom never encountered.
I'm sorry. Do you need to step outside?
Who?
Ma'am, do you need to step outside? Thank you.
And drops
Yes,
off
sir.
groceries. My own mother comes and drops off groceries every day and has never complained about my conduct. And my mom is one to check me. So I have parents, family to pull up whenever they want. And my house is in beautiful condition. It's broken in here. I've never been in an argument with anyone, anything. There's never been anything other than this going on. She just swears to God, I need to go. But in my opinion, I would at least encounter the police. I mean, this is ludicrous to me. So I know, that country is hard. I live around all women, and none of them are the color of me. So she don't understand me. I have the police called on me for listening to music, and I've had the police called for.
All right, I needed a 30-second break from that. Man, his audio, I don't know what's worse, him talking or his audio. Because his audio might be cutting out so badly because his phone's tired of hearing him talk. All right. Deep breaths. Almost finished with this. All right, let's go.
On me for arguing with my kid's mother on the phone about a visit with my kid. And so in my opinion, you'll call the police on me if I'm having a good time or a bad time. I don't have an invisible cloak to just invisibly come in and out the house. I ride a bike, see me walking. They encounter me. I've been without a job, so she encounters me and be mad at me. Like, you need to get a job, MFer, and all this stuff. I could be looking like, how do you know how much money I got? She's told me that I don't pay for an hour.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shiverton,
I've heard
your audio, sir, your audio is not the best. I'm trying.
Well, I'm done. Your Honor.
Mr. Shiverton, I'm not trying to short circuit your testimony. I just want you to understand that I can hear you, but your audio is not consistent. You're breaking up.
Very hard.
So I heard you say that your neighbor said something to you about working or getting a job, and then after that is where I lost you.
Okay.
Was there something else you wanted to say, sir?
Only if you could hear me that she's insulted me 1,000 different times, and it just comes off to me like that's something my girlfriend was mad at me. And I'm like, I'm not your boyfriend, I'm your neighbor. You don't know what I do and how much money I got, or my friends if I need a job. It just comes off very nosy and very controlling. And that's what I gotta say. She's nosy and controlling, and she cry and get me kicked out of my house. This is my home. I have 6 kids. She has time to do this. I'd be worried about my birthday for my kid and things that are real life things, paying my rent and stuff. I think she has time to engage in this type of thing. So I'm sorry. I'm done.
Thank you. Mr. Lamon.
Your Honor, I had some hearing issues with interference as well, but I'm going to blame that on the fact that I'm old. Mr. Shiverton, you said you had 6 children?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever apply to have those children be approved as authorized occupants in your home?
No.
Okay, in fact, you do remember signing your lease, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there's nobody listed as an authorized occupant on the first page of the lease. That's why I was asking you. And you remember the rules and regulations as well?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Shiverton, I've got in front of me 6 police reports, and I can give you the dates of when the police were at your residence. If you want me to, do you agree that the police have been to your home a number of times?
You said 6. Yes, in 2 years, 6.
Okay. And actually, it wasn't within 2 years. It was within a span of 6 months. And 5 of them were within a span of 2 weeks in spring and fall of 2023. Do you remember the police coming to your home?
There were times when I looked out my window. I can't say I remember 6 times, but I do remember looking out my window and seeing officers in my yard outside.
Were there occasions where you then went into your home and wouldn't talk to the officers?
No, sir. I wouldn't even know if the officers were pulling up.
All right. So it's your testimony that every time the officers came to your door, you talked to them?
Oh, no. I've only encountered the police on 2 or 3 occasions when I looked. I heard hanging on my door, so I was wondering what was going on, and I looked and seen him. And there's a couple times when I told the officers to be careful, be safe, and have a nice. That was about what I would say to them.
All right. Let me give you a specific example. April 22nd, 2023. It is what the police report states is that they came to your home and they could hear you yelling. But when they walked up to your porch, you turned around, ran into your home, turned off the lights, and closed your blinds, and then you wouldn't open the door. Do you have any recollection of that?
No, sir.
All right. Are you suggesting that that was an untruthful report?
Yes, sir. The only truth, I might have closed my blinds and I seen some lights flashing in or something. He said it was April. And then what did it say? What time, sir?
Yes, I can tell you that it was April 22nd at 9:54 p.m.
So that was probably dark outside. So yes, sir. If I had a they were flashing lights. That's what police do usually if they come and want to stay in your house. So if I seen some lights flashing in, I probably closed the door.
All right. On August 6th, the police again issued a report that you had been on a different neighbor's porch during the night. Do you remember talking to the police at all about that?
No, sir.
Okay. July 27th, the police report indicates they were called by Ms. Wood, and they attempted to make contact with you and you didn't answer the door. And they could hear you inside the residence, and that you didn't talk to them. Do you remember anything about that at all?
No, sir. I might have been on the phone having a conversation. If someone can hear me in my house, that's not a violation rule that I'm at my own home. So they could have heard me. I can't say that they didn't. If you hear me in my house, music playing.
September 14th, the report indicates they were called by Ms. Wood, and this time they spoke with you. Do you remember speaking with the police that day?
No, sir. Not unless I
Do you remember telling the police that you were in fact being very loud, but you couldn't help that because you had been shot 38 times?
No, sir. I don't recall telling any officer my business. I don't talk to police.
Right. So you don't remember talking to the police and telling them?
No, sir.
Okay. September 17th, 3 days later, in the afternoon, there's a police report and a suggestion that when they approached your home, you closed all your exterior doors and locked them, and that you were unwilling to speak with the officers. Do you remember interacting with the officers on the 17th of September?
No, sir. I do not. I did not the police that day. If I was closing my doors, I was walking in my house. That's what you do when you walk in your house.
September 24th, there's a police report that suggests that you called the police and told the police on the phone that people were trying to kill you. And then when they came to your door, you wouldn't answer. Do you remember anything about that?
I remember calling the police when Mary scratched me up because the park manager had heard that she had put her hands on me because I was having a good time. She ran out of her house and tried to scratch me up for some reason. I was just hanging with some friends. And so I ran in the house. A week later, I seen Miss Shannon. She's awesome.
Was that perhaps on October 4th?
No. Wait.
There's a police report from October 4th that says that you called and told the police that you were assaulted by an unknown female. Now, you knew who Ms. Wood was.
May I answer? After Miss Wood put her hands on me and I seen Miss Shannon a week later, she said if she does that again, call the police. So when her friend, some male that she knows, pulled up and ran and fought me, that was the day that I did call the police. When he came, he was gone. I didn't go out there. But she told me if they put their hands on me again to call the police. So yeah, that day when they assaulted me. I do
Well, let me tell you what the report says, and you can tell me if it's accurate. On October 4th, you advised the police you were assaulted by an unknown female, not a male, a female. And the officers claimed to have come to your home and that you were visibly intoxicated. You were unable to articulate why you called the police, and you refused to exit your porch to speak with the officers. Is that report inaccurate in any way?
No, sir.
Okay, that, what the police claimed there was all correct.
Unless they said I was intoxicated, that's just hearsay. That's their opinion. They don't know that for sure. Unless
That's based on their observations, yes.
that's an opinion.
Your Honor, I don't know if it's possible for you to, of course, I don't know if it's possible for you to hold the photo up to your screen.
That's not me, it's Officer Brooks.
Okay, officer.
Towards the Polycom. Mr. A little higher, Mr. Shiverton, I'm not sure if you can see this picture. Give me 1 second. Back towards me a little, Ken.
Back it up.
Up a little bit. Mr. Shiverton, okay.
Mr. Shiverton, do you see that photograph?
It's a good picture.
I paused it at the perfect time. It's like, yeah, I can see it. It's a good picture. Dude's too cool for school, man. Dude's too cool for school. He's holding a bag, it looks like. He's got a knife in one hand, shirts around his elbows, sunglasses. Dude, man. Dude. All right, let's go.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay. That
Thanks,
photograph has been admitted into evidence as Exhibit 2. And my question for you is that you?
Yes, it looks like.
Okay.
Thanks, Ken.
Mr. Shiverton, have you ever made any written complaints to the office, to the manager or general manager at Maple Leaf Gardens South about Ms. Wood?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you ever made any police reports about Ms. Kanicki?
No, sir.
Okay. How about Ms. Kanicki's daughter? Have you made any reports about her?
No, sir. I don't know.
Ms. Wood testified and Ms. Kanicki testified that you called her and Ms. Wood bitches. Is that correct?
No, sir.
You never called them bitches.
No, sir. Like she said on the top.
And did you ever say that you were going to butcher either or both of them?
Of course not. No.
All right. Your Honor, I have no further questions of Mr. Shiverton.
Thank you. Mr. Shiverton, is there anything else you'd like to say at this time?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any closing?
Briefly, Your Honor, I appreciate your entertaining us this afternoon. The lease is very clear. Rules and regulations are very clear. Ms. Conway read into the record, I think, what are the applicable rules and regulations. Mr. Shiverton is required under the rules and regulations to conduct himself in a fashion that ensures the quiet enjoyment of others. He's not supposed to engage in any kind of noise or unruly behavior that interferes with the peaceful enjoyment of others. He's not supposed to have any kind of weapons that he's brandishing. Mr. Shiverton, a picture here speaks 1,000 words. Mr. Shiverton admits that the photo is of him with a knife, and we've heard the circumstances from the testimony of the witnesses regarding.
Say that's me with the knife.
Regarding the fact that it was a butcher knife and the language that he utilized at that time. Mr. Shiverton has been a frequent subject of police visits. Sometimes when he has requested them, he has, according to the police, and he didn't necessarily deny it, there were occasions where the police were called and then he went to speak with them. And so if the police can't complete their investigation, it's hard for Mr. Shiverton to be charged with a crime. And I think that's his escape route, that he thinks he can engage in the conduct that he has engaged in and that was testified to thoroughly by Ms. Wood and by Ms. Kanicki, and that he's not going to get into any kind of trouble because the police can't complete any kind of investigation. He's not going to get charged. As long as evicted and evicted both end with victed, but there's two separate meanings and there's two separate standards. And Your Honor is well aware of the standard for a civil action. That is not beyond a reasonable doubt, which would be a criminal charge. It's weight of the evidence. And the court has heard ample evidence from Ms. Wood and from Ms. Kanicki, who doesn't really have a dog in this fight, and has observed the photo and has observed the complaint that was made by Ms. Wood to the office, detailing multiple occasions of adverse interactions where he has been unduly noisy, where Mr. Shiverton has been threatening, has threatened to butcher her, has called her a bitch on numerous occasions. The question is he just a bad neighbor, or has he violated the rules and regulations? And he's been far more than simply a bad neighbor. When the police are coming often, when he is engaging in yelling and screaming, intoxicated or not, he's having more than just a bad day. When you bring in additional people, in this case, Ms. Kanicki and her daughter, it transcends simply being a bad neighbor. He has violated the rules and regulations of the community, and therefore, by the weight of the evidence, we believe we have met our burden and presented a case that is sufficient to justify the entry of a possession judgment that would require Mr. Shiverton to vacate within 10 days or by the end of the day on January 8th. He would, by law, have 90 days to move or sell his home. And for that, he could talk to Ms. Conway, maybe that the property is interested in purchasing his home, but he would have that right to move the home or sell it to a different owner. They would just need to qualify for residency in the community. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right. There is only a couple minutes left of this video, so I'm going to let it play out. Thank you, J Hart and Monkey, for your donations. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to hear from this wonderful man here shortly, and then we're going to hear the ruling, and then we're all going to peace out. If KCC is still live, we will raid her channel. If not, everyone have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow night when Heather has decided to join us on camera. So see you guys then. Until next time. Bye.
You actively smoking in court, Mr. Shiverton?
I'm done. I won't. Sorry.
That's okay. Your closing argument, Mr. Shiverton.
Your Honor, I just want to ask, I know it's hard to hear me. I want to apologize to the court for even being in this situation. I love my home, and I'm sorry that I'm in this situation. If it matters at all, sorry, Miss Mary Wood. If her happen to be here, for the owners to have to be here, just when considering what happens in this situation, that I'm given all the rights that are by law for me, just find another home and sell my trailer, and I'm not to anybody. I never will be. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. The court, having had the opportunity to hear the testimony of Ms. Conway, Ms. Wood, Ms. Kanicki, and Mr. Shiverton, and view the evidence submitted by Mr. Lamon and take note of the police report cited by Mr. Lamon, the plaintiff's request to recover possession of the property will be granted. Mr. Lamon will file the appropriate judgment given the fact that this is a mobile home community. And Mr. Lamon, you can either submit that downstairs or you have your office submitted by on base, my file.
Your Honor, I noticed as we were in a break this afternoon that the form that my office had drafted is the wrong form. It is the conventional judgment form. It is not the manufactured home community form that gives Mr. Shiverton 90 days to move or sell the home. So when I return to my office this afternoon, we will get the paperwork properly drafted, and we will submit that using e-filing. as reluctantly as I say it.
Thank you.
It's still a work in progress for our office, but maybe for the court as well.
The court as well, sir. Mr. Shiverton, Mr. Lamon's office will submit that judgment that indicates 10 days for you to physically vacate, 90 days for you to sell, move, or transfer the subject home. A copy will be mailed to you once Mr. Lamon's office presents it and this court signs it. That concludes this matter. Mr. Shiverton, you're free to go. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good rest of the day.
You too. Happy New Year, sir. This is 2